Hello everyone, welcome back to the episode of Alex the Explainer. If you go outside, you can find some rocks. Maybe they could be sedimentary rocks, rocks made of different layers or sediments. Most of these are pretty interesting. The ones in my area made up of sandstone and mudstone, and other types of minerals and crystals, making up the nutrient-rich seafloor of the Ordovician period. However, there are other different types of sedimentary rock. Some of them are called banded iron formations. But wait, isn't iron supposed to be mostly at the core of the Earth? Because of how heavy it is, so it sinks to the core of the Earth? Usually that's the case. However, some iron is found in the crust of the Earth, like banded iron formations. So how do these banded iron formations form? Well, that'll be the topic of today's video. To understand banded iron formations, we first had to explore Earth's history. Earth's history is divided into two separate eons, the Precambrian super eon and the Phanerozoic eon. The Phanerozoic eon consists of the Cambrian period of the Paleozoic era, the beginning of the eon, as well as the rest of the Paleozoic era, the Mesozoic era, and finally, of course, the Cenozoic era, the era we're living in today. However, before the Cambrian and before the Phanerozoic, there was the Precambrian super eon. The Precambrian super eon consists of 90% of all of Earth's history. That's how big it is. No wonder it's called a super eon rather than a normal eon. The first eon in the Precambrian super eon was the Hadean eon, when the Earth first began, a very fiery birth, and no life was present, and the only evidence we have of that time was tiny microscopic crystals of the element zircon. Because of the scarce amount of evidence we have for the Hadean eon, we don't really know much about it. The second eon in the Precambrian eon was known as the Archean eon, when life first evolved around 3.8 billion years ago, or it could have been 4.3 billion years ago, however, no one really knows for sure. And the Archean eon also was when Earth stabilized and slowly cooled down after the fiery birth of the Earth at the beginning of the Hadean eon. The last eon in the Precambrian super eon was known as the Proterozoic eon. This is when two global ice ages happened when the entire Earth was covered in complete ice. These events were known as Snowball Earth events. After all that ice melted, so much oxygen was released that it actually allowed prokaryotic organisms, some of them, to merge together, forming eukaryotic organisms, also allowing those eukaryotic organisms to also cooperate together and become multicellular, because oxygen allowed collagen to form, the substance that allows cells to bond together. All the cells in your body are actually fused together using collagen. Because of these revelations, because of the Snowball Earth events, it actually allowed life like animals and plants to evolve. At the end of the Precambrian eon, known as the Ediacaran period. Then, the Cambrian Explosion began at the beginning of the Cambrian because of the introduction of predators and warm water temperatures. And that's when the Precambrian eon ended. The banded iron formations were actually mostly formed during the Archean eon, so that is what we'll be focusing on. During the Archean eon, bacteria, known as cyanobacteria, evolved. These were the very first photosynthesizing organisms, who took heat and light from the sun, converting it into glucose, a simple form of sugar. As a byproduct, oxygen was released. This oxygen built up in the water. So much, in fact, that the iron in the water turned to rust. And, over the course of a couple billion years, so much iron was deposited that, banded iron formations formed. Across the world, there are so much different banded iron formations, from Australia to the United States. Well, unfortunately, most of all that oxygen that caused all the iron to rust was released into the atmosphere, allowing conditions on Earth unsuitable for creating banded iron formations. And so that is a quick a little video about the banded iron formations. Of course, I will get back to the relationships in nature series. However, for right now, here's a little video. So guys, bye guys, and stay Shrek-tastic.